My family are suing me for something they did, but they don't know what I have up my sleeve. I was 20 years old and 4 months pregnant when my family started trying to convince me to give my baby to my sister. She was the golden child, 32, married to a well-off lawyer, but most importantly, infertile. And the last thing she needed to complete her perfect image was a baby. They tried everything: manipulation, shady adoption papers, even gaslighted me, asking if I really wanted to look into my baby's eyes and see my ex, who abused me. But it didn't work. I gave birth without them, held my baby in my arms, and for the first 10 months of his life, my family were ghosts until it happened. My baby was diagnosed with autism. I told my family because I figured their baby crazy was over by now. But the second they heard it, they ramped it back up, and this time to an 11. My sister Sarah showed up at my studio apartment the next day with a stack of printed articles about autism therapy costs. She explained how necessary specialized care could run thousands per month, and because I was already barely scraping by, it was better to give her my baby. Not giving him this care is basically child abuse, she said with a smile. Before I could even respond, she told me she already had a sensory room set up in her house. She'd been taking mommy classes. She then pulled out framed certificates from her purse and lined them up on my kitchen counter. My mom started visiting daily too after months of silence. She'd hold my son while he stimmed, and one afternoon, I walked in from the bathroom and caught her holding him and pointing at Sarah's photo, saying mama over and over. This was just the start though. You see, I needed their help, and they knew it. I was working double shifts at the restaurant at the time just to afford my son's therapy, and had absolutely no money to pay for a babysitter. My family knew this, and my sister wasted no time exploiting it. On her first day of babysitting, Sarah cheerfully promised me she'd follow all my rules. She swore she respected me as his mother, but of course, I didn't exactly trust her, and so I stuck a nanny cam in his favorite teddy bear without telling her. For the first 3 weeks, everything was surprisingly fine, until one Wednesday when Sarah was supposed to be babysitting. I got a call from my building manager. She told me police were here, inquiring about an abandoned baby in my apartment. My stomach dropped. I raced home, and when I got there, I was met with 2 police officers trying to break my door down. They had me unlock the door, then put me in cuffs, and finally called the closest thing to a legal guardian, my sister, and asked her if she was free to come down and watch my baby for the rest of the day. During the whole ride to the station, they wouldn't even let me explain what was going on. It's only in the interrogation room that I convinced them to give me my phone so I could show them my nanny cam footage, which by the way, thank God for. I loaded it up, and there it was, my sister, the closest thing to a legal guardian, minding my baby before randomly just up and leaving for the next half an hour. The timestamp proved everything. I was let out, but the officers didn't even do anything to pursue Sarah. They just told me to watch out for her. Sadly, things only escalated from there. My family started documenting every meltdown my child had. They cited him crying during lighting as proof of me being abusive, cited him crying at sudden sounds on the TV as me being unattentive to his special needs. They even recorded me crying from exhaustion after a 16-hour shift and edited out the context. Their custody petition hit me like a physical blow. Sarah's husband, the lawyer, built a case claiming around the fact I'd abandoned my child, said I couldn't provide adequate care, and cited me as being mentally unstable. He'd included his wife's certificates, statements they'd gathered from my neighbors with quotes about my child crying taken out of context, and accumulated 47 pages of evidence. And then came the final blow. My ex walked into the courtroom. The same ex who threatened to beat our kid if I made him be a dad, the same ex who signed away his rights for $500, now stood there claiming he wanted what was best for our son. I honestly thought I was going to lose. My lawyer was the cheapest I could find, and I showed up to court looking a mess after a 16-hour shift. But then, my pediatrician saved us. She testified about my baby's progress. Not only that, under oath, she revealed that Sarah had called her office 47 times trying to get his medical records and threatened her if she didn't cave. I looked at her so thankful. And then, when I took a stand, I played the nanny cam recording, the same one I played the officers. But this time, authorities took me seriously. I saw my family's face dropping, like they were regretting this. And then came the beautiful moment. My neighbor took the stand. They testified that Sarah had offered money to lie about me. Then my ex went on stand, and under oath he cracked. He admitted they'd paid him to show up. The judge was horrified. She called this a coordinated attempt to steal a child and issued immediate restraining orders against my entire family. Sarah jumped up screaming that I was wasting him. Security had to drag them out while my mom sobbed about destroying our family. I thought it was finally over. I moved apartments and changed my phone number. But then 5 days later, I was installing new locks when the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find my entire family on the doorstep with my ex standing in front holding custody papers. Sarah stood behind him with her hand on his back, that same smile she wore when she thought she was winning. Full story on channel linked below.